So this is the second pencast for graphing using slope-intercept form. Now remember, slope-intercept form means y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is the y-coordinate of your y-intercept, so 0, b. Alright, so in order to use the slope-intercept form, the first thing we have to do is actually get the equation into slope-intercept form. So in example A, we have 3x plus 2y equals 6. And what we want to do first is subtract the 3x from both sides. Now when I do that, I get 2y equals. Now what I have is 6 minus 3x right now. But if I think of this as addition of the opposite, that's really 6 plus negative 3x. And now I want the x term in front. Remember, I want it to read mx plus b. So that's going to be negative 3x plus 6. Normally, I don't bother writing down that step. It's easy enough to just to think of that minus 3x as a negative 3x and put it in the front. Next, we've got 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. And we want the y all by itself. So to get rid of that multiplication of 2, I need to divide each term in the equation by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1y is just y. So that cancels. And we have y equals, now I have negative 3 over 2, and I'm going to write that by itself. Negative 3 over 2, and then write the x next to it, plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now remember, the coefficient attached to your x is your slope. That's your m. And then the constant at the end is the y-coordinate of your y-intercept. Alright, so now I know that m, my slope, is negative 3 over 2. Remember that this is the rise over the run. And since in this case our 3 is negative, that means our rise is negative. So we're going down, not up. So that's going to be down 3. And then our run is positive, so that's right 2 units. Now, our y-intercept is always 0 and then some value for y. In this case, that value happens to be 3. So it's 0, 3. So now we're going to use this information to graph. The first thing we're going to do is graph the y-intercept, which is 0, 3. So we go to x is 0, and then up to y is 3, and put our point on the line. And then from that y-intercept, we're going to use our slope. So we're going to go from that point down 3, right 2. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then right 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to put our point there. Once we have our 2 points, we want to connect them with a line. And don't forget to put the arrows on either end to show that it goes off to infinity in either direction. And we're done with that example. So now what we want to do is look at the second example, 3x minus y equals 0. First thing I always do is get rid of the subtraction, so minus y I would change to plus negative y. Once again, we want to get rid of that 3x, so we subtract 3x from both sides. So 3x minus 3x cancels, and we have negative y equals. Once again, I'm just going to stick this 3x in front of the 0, so negative 3x. And I'm actually going to keep that plus 0. You could write negative y equals negative 3x, because negative 3x plus 0 is negative 3x. But remember, we want this equation in the form y equals mx plus b. And right now, that b is that 0, so I want to keep it. Last thing is negative y really means negative 1 times y. So we're going to get rid of that negative 1 by dividing each term by negative 1. That'll give us y equals negative 3 divided by negative 1 is positive 3, so that's 3x, plus 0 divided by negative 1 is just 0. So our slope, m, is 3. And since we want to graph with this, we're going to write it as the rise over the run. And you can always make a whole number into a fraction by giving it a denominator of 1. So that's 3 over 1. Now remember, this is our rise. Since it's positive, that means we're going to be going up 3. And then the 1 is our run. And since it's positive, we're going to go to the right 1 unit. Our y-coordinate of our y-intercept is 0. So since it's 0y, we get 0, 0. And remember that this point is called the origin. So first I'm going to graph that point 0, 0, which is right in the middle. And then I'm going to use the slope. So up 3, rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and then run 1. So we go over 1. And then we put our point. And then draw your line between your points and make sure that you put your arrows on the end.